Greetings, people of Earth. Live from the historic and exclusive Arctic Club in beautiful downtown Seattle, it's time for the Anglo-American edition of Spoiler Country. Starring your two-fisted hosts, John and Kenric, mixing the usual speedball cocktail of comics, movies, music, and popular culture. Without further ado, my friends, welcome to Spoiler Country.
We are now recording.
Join the cult of the Spoilerverse, and welcome back to Spoiler Country. I'm Kenric, and that is Mr. Horsley. And today on the show, well, it's Sumner. Andrew Sumner. Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah, I was going to say, as you could tell from the intro music, this is a special Sumner episode, but as normal, Kenric cut me off. So
Yeah, well,
it's fine.
you know, maybe you should shut up until I'm done talking.
I mean, if I did that, I would never talk.
Well, lesson learned, isn't it?
This would be the Kenric show, right? It'd just be the Kenric show.
Oh, I'm so glad you understand that.
Oh,
We're lucky today because Andrew Sumner is literally one of our favorite people on the planet.
yes, sir.
He is so fun to talk with. He's so fun to have drinks with. He's just a really good dude,
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
you know. And today he joins us and he updates us on Titan. And what else we talk about?
We talk about all the cool new stuff on Titan, like him editing a book, which is awesome.
Yep.
And we talk about our favorite movies from the 40s, like that old 40s black and white time period. You hear Kenric and Sumner talk about their favorite movies, and then them forget to ask me about my favorite movie, which I had to interject and say, hey guys, I'm here too. Talk to me. I'm here too. But
Did that really happen?
it 100% did. Yeah. Yeah. I literally said, you guys aren't going to ask me about mine. And you're like, oh, no. Oh, thanks. I feel loved.
So awesome.
But anyway, this was recorded live at the Arctic Club. And
It is the exclusive
the exclusive. And we had
Arctic Club.
a private room in the bar that we could sit at and do our thing.
Well, luckily, Andrew stays there, the hotel.
right? All the time.
And so they just gave him a conference room for us to use, which was awesome.
It was super cool. So we had a little private room. We brought our Zoom L8 and all of our microphones and recorded.
Yep.
And actually, you're actually talking right now on the microphone that Sumner used for that interview.
Yeah. And he did the
intros.
the new intros that you hear on our normal episodes.
Yeah.
That's Sumner on those intros, and he did it on this microphone, which is the Elvis microphone.
Yeah, the Super 55.
Yeah, the Super 55.
So yeah, this is a lot of fun. We talked for a long time, so we got a lot of good stuff for you to hear.
Yep. So let's sit back and listen to Andrew Sumner in his own words. All right, guys, welcome back. We're here again. It's so awesome. We have Andrew Sumner, the EVP of Titan Merchandise, and this is his sixth time on. It's
Six, yeah.
Yeah,
The
it's
big
awesome.
six. It's the big six.
It is the big six.
full
Yeah.
episode.
yeah, and pretty soon it'll be the big 7, and
Yeah.
then we'll get to 8, and
Guys, can I just say thanks very much for having me here again? You know,
Oh,
it's,
thanks for coming on.
Always wonderful to be here at the mysterious Arctic Club.
it's
I
great.
got to say, you know, as podcast environs go, this is pretty awesome. Do you know what I mean?
It's-
the fact that you own this place blows my mind.
Pretty cool, man. It's pretty chill.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
pretty
We
nice.
we keep it on the down low
Yeah,
on the owning because I don't want anybody asking me for money.
If you're listening to this podcast, think the Arctic Club, yeah, it sounds cool. You know, it's a fucking real place, man.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And even better is, you know, we can see this. People listening to the podcast can't. We're talking in front of an 8-foot polar bear statue.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
kind of
amazing.
crazy. We'll put some images up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, the Arctic Club, it's where it's at. You know, I love Seattle, but most of all, I love being in Seattle talking to you guys. That's
man.
like my favorite thing about the city.
It was
love it.
like, it was total awesome when I messaged you yesterday and you're like, hey, I'll be in Seattle tomorrow. I'm like, we're there.
Yeah,
Make it happen.
Yeah.
Well,
I moved everything
seriously,
around.
thanks for making the time. I appreciate
I
it.
told my wife, like, hey, Sumner's in Seattle. She's like, you're going, right? I'm like,
Yeah,
thanks
of
for
course.
It's not the winter without Sumner in Seattle.
That's right.
Yeah,
right.
that's
Well, she's like,
true.
she knows how much fun I have doing these with you and coming here. And she's like, no, you have to go. And I'm like,
Oh, no,
sold.
it's great. I mean,
Yeah.
it's great to get the chance to see you boys.
So people understand, we started this in 2017. 3 weeks later, we met Andrew at the retailer luncheon at San Diego Comic-Con 2017.
yeah, on our
Yeah.
7th episode.
He tells an amazing story about being on a plane, and I think you were
man.
singing a song
I think it was Wonder Woman.
Oh, it was the Wonder Woman. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. I was at an airport. It was like, if I remember correctly, I was somewhere like I must have been somewhere like. It was one of those transfer airports. Like I was doing a 2-leg flight, where I had to like switch somewhere else. And I think it was either Portland or maybe it was Nashville. It was one of those airports, yeah. But that's a whole story, as you know.
It is.
And,
Whole story.
which does involve me singing the Wonder Woman theme tune to some acclaim from a group of ladies I'd never met before.
Nice.
But you, so people don't know, Titan merchandise, if you like the little vinyl figurines and T-shirts, if you go to Spencer's and you get a T-shirt, it's probably Titan.
Right on that.
Especially Doctor Who.
If you go to Hot Topic and get a Doctor Who shirt, it's definitely one of ours.
Oh,
Yeah. So what's new?
Okay, so I specifically run the merchandise division of Titan, and Titan merchandise is one division of the Titan Entertainment Group.
Right.
And the Titan Entertainment Group includes Forbidden Planet, the retail chain in the UK, which is like the most famous set of like pop culture stores in the UK and Europe.
That's awesome.
Have you ever come to London?
My sister was there in Brighton,
Yeah.
and she went
Right
to
on.
London with my mom, and they went to one.
You got to visit the London Forbidden Planet. It's amazing. It's like on 2 floors, and it's an amazing place, and it's a real tourist destination. And then we also have like a books division, and we publish. We have a whole sort of noir crime imprint called Hard Case Crime, edited by an awesome bloke called Charles Ardo, who's based in New York. And then we have like a whole science fiction imprint. We do a lot of like space fleet adventure type books, and we do a whole load of coffee table books, things
awesome.
like the art of Harry Potter, all that kind of stuff. Endless coffee table books. We've worked a lot with J.J. Abrams, and we've done a lot of coffee table books based around his films, like his Star Trek and
The
whatnot.
books are fantastic.
And with Christopher Nolan, with just about everybody. We were heavy on the licensed book imprints, and then we've got a comics publishing division as well. So we publish all the Doctor Who comics globally.
Yep. And they're fantastic.
And we have a bunch of creator-owned stuff as well. We do a lot of computer game-orientated stuff. Tons of stuff, as you boys know.
That's crazy.
But as you guys also know, is although I fundamentally are in a division that makes things like collectible toys and teas and all that kind of stuff. My background is that I was a journalist for 25 years.
You even had a TV show.
I did indeed. I wrote about movies, presented a movie TV show.
Turner Classic Movies.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely
for the UK.
right. Yeah. Had you seen that when we originally met? Though you hadn't seen it.
No.
No.
You sent us a link for it.
Yeah, you sent us. Well, we talked about it. And you're like, oh, I have a thing. I'll send it to you. And you sent it to me about a day later. And I'm like, oh my god. And then I watched every single one that was available on YouTube.
So great.
Yeah, I know. So that's the younger me, not
Just
the young
young,
me. I'm still
dapper
pretty old.
Andrew Sumner.
Yeah, and we filmed that in a really beautiful like vintage cinema in North London. That's not a set; it's actually an old cinema with all those like crushed velvet chairs and everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It was really nice. Yeah, so that was my background. I used to write about pop culture and whatnot for a long time, and something that I've been. So what we've done at Titan Merchandise recently that's done real well for us, and people should check out, is we've our Titans vinyl collectibles, which the vinyl collectibles we do, we've moved sort of away from blind boxing them and into window boxing them.
Oh, nice.
And now you get window box collections, and we're getting deep into the anime space, right?
Oh, nice.
So we launched a My Hero Academia set at the beginning of this year.
Oh, wow.
That's a big
You
series.
can pick it up at Hot Topic, you can pick it up at those kind of stores.
Yeah.
Entertainment Earth, you can get it from there, and that's doing extremely well for us. My Hero Academia is on fire right now. It's a great show.
Yeah. Kids love it.
And the people, the licensing people that I work with in the anime business for the big companies like Funimation and Crunchyroll, which are the companies that basically distribute all the anime in the US. Such lovely people, man. I mean, I was there. They're based in like San Francisco and they're based in Dallas, and there's some of the guys I've been hanging out with this week. They're just really cool people.
Yeah.
And I've said to you before, the people at Hot Topic are very cool. The HT Nerdette, who does a lot of podcasts for Hot Topic, she's a good friend of mine. She's a wonderful person, and
and they're just a good crowd to work with. But in addition to running the merchandise stuff, I've been dipping my toe back into doing some editing, which is part of what I used to do.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge fan of like crime fiction and noir fiction and whatnot. And one of my favourite authors is a guy called Max Allan Collins.
Yeah.
And Max Allan Collins has got a kind of storied history. He's written an absolute ton of brilliant crime novels. He at one point was the writer of the Batman series for DC.
Yeah.
He jokes about his time writing Batman for DC, but I really love the work he did on Batman. And what he really did was he created Jason Todd, the second Robin. He gave him the kind of personality that is the prevalent version of Jason Todd now, where he's kind of like hardcore and, almost semi-sociopathic, right?
The Red Hood now, right?
So,
Yeah,
he is. The
yeah.
guy who became the Red Hood. So Max's origin is the one they still use, where Batman
Was
found him
he-
like boosting the tires off the Batmobile and whatnot.
Yeah. Did he write A Death in the Family?
He did not write A Death in the Family, but that arced out, sort of. A Death in the Family kind of
Yeah.
not really preceded that, but was in that same kind of wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And what he also did was he for a long time used to write the Dick Tracy comic strip.
Oh, cool.
So he was the first guy to write Dick Tracy after Chester Gould retired. Max took it over for a long time, and he
That's
brought
crazy.
it back to its kind of light noir kind of crime route. So
little bit more
he
gritty.
got rid of all the weird kind of moon stuff, like the Moon Maid and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
He took all of that out of it and made it much more kind of. Yeah, and he wrote when Warren Beatty did the Dick Tracy film.
Yeah.
Max wrote the novel of the film.
Yeah.
But I guess what Max is like, he's famous for many things, but what he's I guess the most famous for is he wrote and created The Road to Perdition, the graphic novel that they turned into that film that
Tom Hanks? Tom Hanks?
Yeah, with Tom Hanks.
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
know that was him. That's crazy.
Him.
Yeah.
yeah, that's him. So
Yeah.
that's an early Sam Mendes film, and it's
Yeah.
an adaptation of Max's work.
I didn't even know when I watched that movie, I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Like, this is amazing. And I had no idea it was a comic
Based
book.
on an awesome graphic novel,
Yeah.
and I hope I've got this right, but it's Max wrote it, and a guy called Richard Piers Rayner did the artwork.
Yeah.
You should check it out, The Road to Perdition. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So anyway, at San Diego and New York, I like compare a lot of panels and whatnot. And I've introduced and done interviews with Max for a couple of years at San Diego. And we got on real well. I mean, he's a friend of mine these days, and and one of the things we do at Titan, which is absolutely awesome, is I'm a huge fan of Mickey Spillane. Now, Mickey Spillane was the most popular pulp novelist of the 50s and 60s. In the 1950s, the most popular author in America. Sold millions of books. Mainly crime fiction books, and mainly crime fiction books starring the character Mike Hammer. So Private Detective Mike Hammer, who's played by Stacy Keach in the 80s TV show. Yeah. So basically what happened is...
I get that series when it comes out, the comic book.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know you. I know you're a fan of it. So basically... So what we've been doing with Max is, when Mickey Spillane died about 10 years ago, Max became the literary executor of his estate, and like Max said to Mickey said to his wife, when I pass away, take all this kind of the unfinished manuscripts I've got, and pass them along to Max. He'll know what to
Wow.
do. Yeah,
That's huge.
and so what Max has been doing for the last 10 years is he's been completing all the unfinished, semi-finished, written down as a concept only Mike Hammer novels.
That's
And we've been
crazy.
publishing them. So basically, there were 13 published Mike Hammer novels before Mickey died. And since then, we at Titan, we've published another 12.
Wow.
So that's Mickey Spillane with Max Allan Collins. Anyway, Max and I were getting on so well that he asked me to start working with him as the editor on the series. So that's what I've started doing. I mean, Max, I'm telling you, doesn't really need any editing.
Right.
But it's
It's an easy way for you to get back into it.
it's a form that I love. I've been really enjoying it. So we've been working on So I edited the Mike Hammer book that is about to be released in March, around about March 17th, I think. It's called Masquerade for Murder. And again, Max Allan Collins doesn't need much
What a great
editing.
title.
Masquerade for Murder is a beautiful title.
And it's kind of what Max has been doing is been like filling in the blanks in like Mike Hammer's history, depending upon when these fragments of manuscripts or half-finished manuscripts came from. And this particular novel kind of takes place in 80s New York, around the whole kind of like Wall Street kind of era of New York City trading. So it takes place in the trading companies of Wall Street and whatnot. And, it's a murder mystery that I won't reveal any more of that happens in that period of time. But the period detail's great. It's a later, older Mike Hammer, so he's calmed down a bit, because the young Mike Hammer is like almost like psychotic and deranged, got some form of PTSD when he comes back from the war, and is just going around beating the shit out of criminals left, right, and centre. He's a bit more measured, but having said that, he does take out a vast amount of people in the last third of the book. So
Good.
it's without any spoilers, but it's really, really, Max done a great job with it, as he always does. It's been a great pleasure working on it. I mean, I'm a lifelong Mike Hammer fan.
Yeah.
Right? And there are a couple of really key Mike Hammer movies that any kind of fan of film noir would want to see.
Yeah.
And I would say the top three would be a Robert Aldrich film made fairly towards the start of his career called Kiss Me Deadly, which was released in about 1960. And that stars an actor called Ralph Meeker as Mike Hammer.
Yeah.
And it relocates Hammer from New York to Los Angeles. But it's like the ultimate like Los Angeles film noir. And I couldn't recommend it highly enough. It's a fantastic film.
I'll check that out.
And Ralph Meeker is kind of like simmering anger throughout this movie. And then you kind of flip forward. The next most interesting, I think, adaptation is kind of made... it's also kind of made in the 60s, and it's called The Girl Hunters. Now, what's fascinating about The Girl Hunters, right, is that, it's shot in England but set in New York. So they do a bunch of exteriors, but the most of the actors and actresses, the interiors are shot in studios in the UK, right? Yeah. And but the most interesting
Hammer
about
Studios?
it is that Hammer, I think it's shot at Bray Studios, maybe. I might be wrong about that. But Hammer is played by Mickey Spillane himself.
Oh.
So he plays his own creation.
Oh,
That's awesome.
That's cool.
That's super cool.
Girl Hunters?
Because the Girl Hunters, and the thing about Hammer is about Spillane is he could act. He acted in a John Wayne produced film called Ring of Fire, but he spent the last kind of 20, 30 years, a good 20 years in the 70s and 80s. Selling Miller Lite beer on TV. He was in all the Miller Lite beer commercials. Playing himself. So he could actually act, and
That's hilarious. I had no idea.
He does a really good job as Hammer.
My introduction to Mike Hammer was Stacy Keach.
Of course, and Stacy Keach is it plays an amazing, slightly older, calmer Hammer. But Stacy Keach is a fantastic actor, one of the great American stage actors. Yeah. And I really loved his version of Mike Hammer with that great Harlem Nocturne theme tune. Yeah. That was awesome. But I would say that perhaps the most overlooked for me Hammer movie and the one that I'd recommend you boys seeking out is an early 80s film called I, the Jury. I'm thinking it's like 81, 82. And it's directed by a guy called Richard T. Heffron. The only thing that Richard T. Heffron would have directed that you boys might have seen is the V series, about the aliens, the alien lizards. Yeah. He directed that. And
Robert Englund eating the rat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You hit the nail on the head. So, I, the Jury is the first Hammer novel, right?
Yeah.
And basically, it's adapted into the 1980s. It's the movie version. There's several movie versions, but this one I'm talking about now, set in the early 80s, and it stars Armand Sante.
Oh, nice.
And Armand Sante is fantastic in this movie.
He's
and
good at
he is
everything.
playing the young venal Hammer, who's just, kind of full of simmering anger and rage. And the film was written and was due to be directed by Larry Cohen, right? Larry Cohen, who made Cue the Winged Serpent and all that kind of stuff. And basically, about 2 weeks in, for whatever reason, a disagreement with the producers, he's fired off his own movie. So he goes and shoots Cue the Winged Serpent while they're shooting I, the Jury in New York. And Richard T. Heffron comes on board. And it's really the kind of uncredited template for those hyperkinetic, violent action movies of the mid to late 80s. So if you watch, say, Lethal Weapon or you watch Die Hard, the basic Die Hard is 89, I think. Lethal Weapon is like mid 80s, but again, I, the Jury is made in about 81, 82. And really all the components of those movies are in this film.
Nice.
Yeah. And it's really, really well worth seeing. It's really well worth seeing. So I couldn't recommend it highly enough. So, to get the chance to edit a Mike Hammer novel and to work with one of my favourite writers, that was a really, it's been a real privilege. Do you know what I mean? I'm really interested for you boys to see the book and see what you think.
Yeah, I want to read it because that's kind of crazy if you think about it. All those amazingly sold books from in the 50s and 60s, and now you're in the line of those.
Yeah. See, it's amazing. It's one of those things that you've got. You love something all your life, and then you have the privilege of helping somebody work on it. Or aiding somebody would be the right word. Mac's an amazing author. He's very prolific. He's got a series called Quarry, and Quarry is kind of an extremely efficient hitman.
Yeah.
And the latest Quarry novel is just being published by a hard case crime imprint called Killing Quarry. And that's had some amazing reviews. It's been released relatively recently. Like I say, Masquerade for Murder, the Mike Hammer novel, comes out in March. Oh, that's awesome. It's about to be released.
I want to read that.
And the thing is, he does all kinds of things. He
must there must be some stress to pick up and then to be handpicked by Spillane to continue the series, give all this stuff to Max, have him finish up what I couldn't finish, and then just what's the word I'm looking for? Like the not the stress, but just the responsibility that comes with.
I mean, I'm certain that Max feels the responsibility, but I'm also certain that I think the way he looks at the whole thing, because he's the ultimate. I'm a massive Mike Hammer fan.
Yeah,
he's the ultimate Mike Hammer fan, right? And I think he considers it to be a blessing and a privilege.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way he looks at it.
I love detective novels.
Oh yeah,
The
right.
best.
Noir. Oh my God! Like I've watched The Maltese Falcon. I don't even know how many times.
Yeah, such a great film.
Anything we're trying to solve a problem, we're trying to figure something out.
Yeah,
it's just the best.
Yeah.
I
don't know, man. Like Humphrey Bogart back in the day, watching his movies, and I went on a James Cagney, like White Heat.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love all that stuff, and Mike Hammer fits right in there.
Oh mate, that's awesome. He really does. Hammer is very much part of that. It's funny you should mention the Maltese Falcon, because I was in San Francisco the other day, and which was where Dashiell Hammett lived, right? And I had a bite to eat at a place called John's Grill. Now, John's Grill has been there in San Francisco since 1908, and it's in the Maltese Falcon. It was next door to where Dashiell Hammett lived, and in the Maltese Falcon, it's where Sam Spade goes, and he gets some chops and a baked potato and some tomatoes, and has like a shot of whiskey, smokes a cigarette, and it's actually in the book. And so if you go to John's Grill now, which has not changed one iota, it has the Maltese Falcon itself is in the restaurant.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
That's so cool.
What is your when you think of movies, especially older movies like that?
Yeah.
What is your favorite one from like the 30s and 40s? Do you have one that is? Because I have one.
Yeah.
And I used to run a video store.
Yeah.
And people come in and I would play it. You know,
Yeah.
when they would tell them, like, the corporate officers, you got to play, you know, The Lion King, whatever, like that.
Yeah.
And it's like 8 o'clock at night, and I'm like, screw that, I'm playing this.
Well, I've got a handful of ones.
Yeah.
Before I ask you yours, right?
Yeah.
And so a handful of the ones that I like.
I just wonder if mine's in there.
I've got a short kind of rotation. So one is kind of somewhat related to the Maltese Falcon, which is Howard Hawks' The Big Sleep.
Yeah,
I love The Big Sleep.
good. Big
So
Sleep is
that's a
great.
fantastic adaptation of the Raymond Chandler, Philip Marlowe novel, and great lead performances from Bogart and from Lauren Bacall, but also a great kind of second lead performance from Dorothy Malone. Because I don't know if you remember, in the movie, there's a brilliant sequence where Marlowe's trying to find out some information, and he goes into a bookstore. Yeah, and the lady working in the bookstore is kind of bespectacled but very attractive. You know, not that being bespectacled is an impediment to being very attractive. And even back in those unreconstructed times, just like, by the way, I'm saying this to Kenric, who's now wearing a brand spanking new pair of spectacles, and he does look very sexually attractive.
Yes.
It is absolutely the case.
Oh yeah.
You guys heard it here first.
So if you check out this scene with Dorothy Malone, it's a brilliant scene full of kind of simmering sexual tension. Marlowe is attracted to her, she's attracted to Marlowe. She closes the shop down while they have a little chat and some bourbon or what have you.
Right.
It's an awesome scene. But there's so many things about that movie that I love stylistically. It's great. And by the way, there are 2 cuts of that movie. I don't know if you've ever seen this.
2 cuts?
Yeah, there's the original cut, which was only released to US soldiers abroad. It was like sent round, US army camps, in Europe, because it was made during the war, right? And then once the producers or whatever took a look at it, they decided that when they used it as kind of test screenings, they realised that what people were really responding to were the scenes with Bogart and Bacall. Yeah, so actually they increased the size of Bacall's part in the movie. It's already a considerable character that she plays, but they upped her screen time, and they kind of reshot, kind of like the last third or so of the movie, recast one of the other female parts and gave more screen time to Bogart and Bacall. And it's interesting, the original cut is slightly more faithful to the novel.
Yeah.
But the revised cut with more Bacall is actually better.
Yeah.
The first cut's interesting.
Well, more Bacall is always better than less Bacall.
And she's phenomenal in that movie, and she looks amazing, and she has amazing presence, like he does. Yeah. So I love that movie. But I guess my 2 of the films of the period you've mentioned that I really, really love are both super well known, and many people have seen them, and they get talked about a lot. And one is The Philadelphia Story, with Cary Grant and James Stewart and Katharine Hepburn. That is an amazing film, which was later remade as a very memorable musical, remade as High Society with Bing Crosby and Frank Sinatra and Grace Kelly. But as good as that is, and it is a great film, the Philadelphia Story is a supremely good film. It's an amazing piece of work. And then I also love from it's 1946, I think, It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
I love
Frank
that
Capra
movie.
film. Love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I loved it when I was a
don't know
little
who
kid
named your
before I
kids
knew what it was.
Zuzu Pedals, but
Oh yeah,
But it's an amazing movie. I watch that every year.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal film. And for years, it's one of those films that I'd seen it when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
And it lived on in my memory. And I just couldn't. This is, I mean, obviously I figured out what it was decades ago now, but I remember I must have seen it when I was 6, and I never saw it again until I was about 26.
Oh, wow.
And I kept thinking, what is that film that has this scene in with the old guy's an angel? And then obviously, it's because the interesting thing is It's a Wonderful Life. One of the things that aided its kind of cultural supremacy is the fact that through some kind of filing error, It's a Wonderful Life is in the public domain. Right?
Yeah.
So one of the reasons it's as popular as it is now, particularly here in the US, is that when it went into the public domain, public television began screening it every year at Christmas
Yep.
time.
Yeah.
And
Every year.
that developed its following.
Yeah.
And the truth is it's held in much higher regard now than it was when it was originally released.
That's right.
Yeah.
My mom was like, when that came out, it was considered a flop.
Yeah, it absolutely
Yeah.
was. And a film I think was released in I'm hoping I've got this right, it was released in the same year and that won the Oscar for Best Film. Is about people returning from the war. It's called The Best Years of Our Lives. And that was a kind of very serious drama. And one of the guys who, I think he was in that movie and won a special Oscar, was a real veteran who'd lost his hands.
Yeah.
Right? And it's a very serious film about dealing with post-war stress or whatnot. Considered to be a great film. And it's completely forgotten now. Nobody
Yeah.
even,
I don't even know that one.
Nobody's heard of it. Nobody
Yeah.
knows it. But that was considered to be the great post-war film that year.
Best Years of Our Lives. I'll have to check that out.
And, It's a Wonderful Life didn't even touch it. And now, It's a Wonderful Life is one of the most famous films of all time.
Yeah.
And Best Years of Our Lives is just totally forgotten.
I just love that era. I love it for
Oh, me too.
mostly for the writing.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like they had like long drawn dialogue.
Yeah.
And so much is explained. It's not so much. It's not very gratuitous as a
Yeah.
whole.
Yeah.
But the subject matter, when you get in and you're actually paying attention to what's happening, it's gruesome.
Oh, yeah.
know?
Hardcore. You know what I mean? Hardcore.
My favorite one from that era was Double Indemnity with Fred
Oh,
McMurray
fantastic
and Barbara
film, mate.
Stanwyck.
Such a great
That
choice.
was and Edward G. Robinson. That was the one I always played. And people are like, what are you watching? I'm like, this is Double Indemnity, and this is probably Fred McMurray's finest role.
Oh, mate, such a great choice. Yeah, undoubtedly Fred McMurray's greatest role. I think Barbara Stanwyck had a few great roles, but for him, he was doing something very different with his talent in that
Have
movie.
you ever watched that?
Compared to what
have
he
not,
normally
no.
does?
Dude, Double Indemnity is about an insurance salesman, and he comes to the house to sell insurance, and the lady wants to kill her husband, and
Oh,
so
geez.
they hatch a plan because she what's the word I'm looking for? She uses her sexuality to get him to do everything,
Right.
and
Her assets.
yeah, she uses her assets. And Barbara Stanwyck is gorgeous in this movie.
This is incredible.
Yeah, and she's an amazing,
amazing.
actress or actor, or however you want to say.
Yeah.
It. She's awesome, and she convinces him to take out. They don't do this anymore, but there used to be a double indemnity clause in
Right.
life insurance. So if you died a certain way, it paid double.
Yeah, I've heard about that before.
Yeah, so they hatch a plan.
You've told me about this movie
Yeah,
before.
they
We've
probably.
talked about
I
this.
probably did. Probably with Andrew. I wouldn't be surprised because
Probably last time.
Yeah, I love this movie, and there's not a lot of people that you can actually talk to that actually seen it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially
Yeah.
in our age group. You know, in my age group.
Well, it's a fascinating thing, and Double Indemnity is one of the films of that era where people. It's the beginning of people starting to talk in more naturalistic American accents, because something that's fascinating about films from the 30s and 40s,
that transatlantic.
the transatlantic / mid-Atlantic accent, and actors were specifically tutored to speak that way.
Oh, what is
in
her
a very?
name?
It's like an American hybrid of the English accent.
Yep.
So it's American. It has the American vowel sound, but it has those clipped consonants of English. So that when people are talking, they talk with a much more English rhythm. And that's how Cary Grant talks. That's how everybody talks in those movies.
Yeah.
Because it was considered to be a much clearer way to speak and communicate with the masses.
In the 90s, a great movie came out that the Coen brothers did called The Hudsucker Proxy.
Oh, yeah.
With
Oh,
Sean
yeah.
Robbins. And Jennifer Jason Leigh does a transatlantic accent, and she's perfect. It's like you're listening to it, you're like, oh my God, I'm watching a 1930s film brought to life.
She's phenomenal at that stuff, Jennifer Jason Leigh, because she's in Mrs. Parker and the Vicious Circle, which is about Dorothy Parker, the great screenwriter and wit, and Dorothy Parker kind of spoke that way kind of naturally, you know.
Yeah.
But absolutely, that's a great performance. Once you tune into the transatlantic, mid-Atlantic accent thing, you can't help but notice it every time it comes up. And they really are, generally speaking, in a very different way to the way Americans speak.
No one does it. No one naturally speaks like that anymore that I know of.
No one really naturally spoke like that in real life either. That's the thing.
It was made up for the show.
It took me
Almost like-
forever because I asked my mom, like, why are they speaking like? She's like, the transatlantic accent.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, who speaks that way? And I looked
movies.
and searched, and it's just, and I looked up transatlantic when the internet was predominant. I started looking it up, and then I found out it's a way of speech specifically for the movies.
Yeah.
Specifically for the movies
and
of the time.
I think it came from like them being on stage and having to project
that's
this
exactly
clear,
Yeah, that's exactly where it comes from. It comes from American actors being taught to enunciate in a certain way. And then the belief at the time was that it was a clearer way to speak and could be captured on the more primitive audio recording devices.
It worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can follow everything they're saying.
You guys
That's
didn't ask me
true.
what my favorite movie from that time period was.
what is it?
I feel left out over here.
Yeah.
Sorry, go for it.
Do you care?
What is
I
it?
certainly could.
Yeah, what
Come on,
is
Johnny, what is it?
It doesn't matter what you think.
I'll push the buttons. We have buttons that make noises, and
Yeah.
he hates it. No, it's easy. I mean, when I was a kid, when I was like probably 13 or so, my dad introduced me to Casablanca.
Oh, yeah.
And ever since
great.
then, I've loved one of my favorite movies from that time period because I watched it all through high school, and I love that film. It's literally one of my favorite movies of all time.
Oh, God, it's great. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon and for the rest of your life.
Yes.
Yeah. Great. I love it.
You know what my favorite part about these Sumner episodes is, Kenric?
What's that?
Just hanging out with Sumner.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Even if we weren't recording, I mean, obviously I'd still go hang out, but the guy has so much knowledge.
Yeah, he has a ton of knowledge. And sometimes when he's talking, you're like, that ain't real. And then you go back, you're like, holy shit, that's 100% real.
And I was like, how do you remember all these names from everything you've ever done or watched?
TV shows, interviews, comic books, you
Yeah.
name it, he knows it.
It's kind of crazy.
It is kind of crazy. Well, I hope you guys thoroughly enjoyed that as much as we enjoyed making it.
Oh man, it was so much fun.
It was. It really was. You know what I love about right now?
What's that?
I'm drinking Fremont Sky Kraken,
Oh, hey, me too.
and I'm eating red licorice.
I will be in a minute because I'm going to take some from you. But no, Fremont Sky Kraken is an amazing hazy pale ale that I love.
Yeah, and this is like no one's giving us money to say that.
No, and we actually drink these every time we record here.
Just about. Yeah. It's awesome.
So Fremont Brewing, if you want to sponsor us, we will happily take free beer and talk about it every episode. I mean,
Right?
Say no.
Right? Hey, if you guys enjoyed that interview with Mr. Sumner, the executive VP of Titan Merchandise,
Dr. Sumner.
yeah, Dr. Sumner,
He's his PhD in awesome.
right? But if you did enjoy that and you want to see more, there's a bunch of episodes with Andrew on our sepod.net website.
And as a bonus, you're going to have another one next Monday.
Yeah.
And another one the Monday after that.
Yeah, 3 in a row. Crazy.
Yeah.
But we have so many interviews in our back catalog. You really need to go back and check those out.
So much cool stuff. And I mean, I know I said it before, I'll say it again. We have so much cool stuff coming out that I wish I could tell you all about, but I'm not gonna. But I will tell you that on Wednesday in 2 days, you're gonna hear us talk to Tim Seeley. And then on Friday in 4 days, you're gonna hear us talk to James Rowland, who's the creator of Blood Drive.
Yeah, the crazy sci-fi TV show that was on a couple years ago that ended way too early and should have had a second
season, yeah, for sure. But yeah, we got so much in the back catalog, so much cool stuff coming out. You've got to subscribe. You've got to go to our website, sepod.net, and subscribe there. You got to go to our Twitter and follow us there because we talk about so much cool stuff on our Twitter. And if you really do like us and love us, you should probably go and write us a review on iTunes and Google Play because that'd really help us.
Yep. Give us a share.
Give us a share, give us a like, and tell everybody about us because we're the coolest podcast out there that we're on.
We are the coolest.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I think that's a show.
That is a show.
Thanks for joining us today. Hope we'll see you soon. And don't forget to open the mind.
And read more.